Surah Al-Imran, verse number 43. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Wa iz qalatil malaikatu ya Maryamu inna Allaha astafaki wa tahharaki wastafaki ala nisa'il alameen.
That's right.
And remember when the angel said, O Mary, Allah has chosen thee and purified thee and chosen thee above all women of the time.
أريد أن أسأل ما هو معنى اصطفاكي؟
Istafake?
Istafaki.
Like it, the same word is used in relation to so many other people, like prophets of God, whom Allah istafa. This means He made him or her His own. He preferred a person to make him His own. That is the scenario created by the word istifa. And it is in this connection that the word istifa is mentioned here. But I thought you would ask the question slightly different from what you have. I thought you would inquire about Alameen. Is Mary the most excellent in all the world, of all the people? What about Hazrat Fatima radhiyallahu ta'ala anha? What about Hazrat Khadija? And so on and so forth. So I thought this is a question you were going to ask. And you took me completely in a different direction.
She wanted to ask this question.
But
She asked
presently,
me.
she asked you.
Yes, I could.
I'm going to ask now. Answer this much, translate this much, then we'll come to the question later. See, when you speak about Alameen, it has to be determined in relation to which people and which time you are speaking about Al-Alameen. And in fact, what is the meaning of Al-Alameen anyway? According to the Arabic grammatic rules, Al-Alim is the one who knows, and Al-Alam is the thing any alim knows. So from the vantage point of Al-Alim, Al-Alam can become smaller or bigger. An amoeba is also an alim. A small worm is also an alim. But what he knows is so small surrounding him that his alam, which his knowledge creates, is so small, so insignificant. So also the flying birds are alim. They see things far beyond the people, animals which walk on the ground see. But yet their alim is limited. They don't see beyond, say, maximum 50 miles or more or less. So that's about the breadth of their vision. So their alam becomes very small in relation to what they see. But the human alam went on expanding. At the time of Bani Israel, their alam was only limited to the areas, geographical boundaries of their knowledge, no more. Wherever the Israelites existed, the world they had seen physically and heard about, that was all their alam. But it kept on expanding with the growth of knowledge, until when Galileo invented for the first time that telescope. That telescope, according to Galileo himself, increased the alam for the people, for mankind, by 100 times. At least. The world of stars and heavenly bodies seen by naked eyes was too small as compared to what Galileo saw through his telescope. So the alam began to expand with the invention of Galileo. And it was no longer the same alam as was known to the children of Israel. During the age of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as the Quran had predicted, half the rest of the world was discovered, which was completely unknown to the people of Israel. So their alam was so small. It did not even cover India and China and Japan and many other parts of the known world. So you must first of all understand what alam means. Al-alam is something which somebody knows. Alameen, with reference to the point of God, is all the creation, in every respect, in breadth, in depth. Everything which exists is the alam of God. From the amoeba's point of view, the alam is just a small little filth, that's all. From the point of view of Galileo, it was 100 times greater than the man could see. From the point of view of modern telescopes, electronic telescopes, the alam has extended to 20 billion light years. So how can you translate the word alam exactly in the same context? And the proof that it does not mean that Hazrat Maryam was given superiority over all the women of the earth, even the earth which was not known. All the women of the ages yet to come. Because the Holy Quran speaks of the same Alameen in a different context altogether. Right? First of all, remember this. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا بني إسرائيل اذكروا نعمتي التي أنعمت عليكم وأني فضلتكم على العالمين. Why didn't you raise this point? This is far more important than that as Mary. Because if this is exactly the same meaning, as Ahmad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is made rahmatul lil alameen, then what is the difference between his people and the Jewish people? They were also the very best of all the alameen. So were they better than the Ummah Muhammadiyya sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Certainly not. Because here the word Alameen is limited to the time when they existed. Alameen in those days were very small things. During the age of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the word Alameen has got extended to the limits which are mentioned in the Holy Quran. Illa bi Sultan, which I have already mentioned. Ya ma'shar al-jinni wal insi in istata'tum an tanfuzu min aqtari as-samawati wal ard fanfuzu la tanfuzuna illa bi sultan fabi'ayyi ala'i rabbikum tukazzibun. So with the help of argument, powerful logic, the Alameen known to man in the age of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam were predicted by the Quran to extend to the very limit of the universe. So a prophet who is the prophet of this Alameen is far beyond the status of a prophet who is the prophet of the Alameen of Israel. The same goes with Mary. She was best, of course, of the women of Israel and their alam. Hazrat Fatima is Sayyida with reference to the hereafter. Sayyida to all the women who would be gathered there. So the difference is immense. I hope you understand this point. when it is translated tribute. Now, what I said about the relationship between alim and alam is clearly supported by an Arabic saying. It says, "Mautul alime, mautul alam." Evidently, it's exactly the same thing. It does not mean that when a great learned scholar dies, the whole world dies with him. It means the world of his knowledge is a great world. So when the alim dies, the alim dies. His alim dies with him. Right? So the Israelites' ilm was limited, and their alims were limited, and their alim was also limited. But the alim of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's age is far more vaster, beyond all comparison. Right?